Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night with Pineapple. I'm your host, Terrence Ramses, and we have another phenomenal guest this week. I'm excited for this special live. Man, I got a phenomenal guest on here, man. He's doing some great things. But before we get into the live, I want to tell everybody about myself and who I am. My name is Terrence Ramses. I am the CIO and founder of the Royal Blossom Company, also the host of the Royal Blossom Podcast as well. So I do a lot of different things in the community. So I've been working on this amazing business since 2015, up and going since 2018, based out here in St. Petersburg, not St. Petersburg, but the Tampa Bay area. And the mission of the brand is to restore, build, create, to restore all the wealth and resources that have been lost in our communities, to build up the youth and children that are coming behind us, to create a unique commonwealth of like-minded entrepreneurs to put them back in their God-given purpose and talents. And our brand values is to be fun, spirited, and passionate about everything you do with God. Also, a little bit back about my background. I'm originally from Jersey, Caribbean background, U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Also, I graduated from Bethune-Cookman University with a business administration concentration in marketing in 2012. I stayed out there for a couple of years after that. I came to Tampa Bay in 2017. I've been living out here since and been growing the business since. So we got a lot of different things. And just want to get into a few different things that's going on with the brand before we get into that, to the special guest that's coming on. So also I have a private label firm called Fashion Loft Silk Pay. But if you need any custom designs, logos, tech pack creation, website creation, if you need any of these type of services for like fashion or just any type of logo services, I can do that. I've had some clients just finish a couple of weeks. I finished with a couple of weeks ago with just little small orders. We can do shirts, dresses, family reunion shirts, like event shirts, suits, all that. Anything that you can think of from a fashion perspective, we can do that too. And just let us know. You shoot me an email at pineapple@rightbrand.net, or you'll just inbox the Royal Blossom Company. You can follow the private label firm at Fashion Loft Silk Pay. You'll be able to see it on Instagram. It's in my bio with the Royal Blossom Company. I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the Rumble page, Royal Blossom Podcast, and subscribe to YouTube. YouTube is Royal Blossom 2018. So without further ado, so a couple of weeks ago, towards the end of the year, we had a fashion shoot, with some of the new products and stuff that's coming out. So this is some of the people that's in my team or whatever. So we did an amazing photo shoot. This is the glowing gray on the all the way right. So that's also on pre-order. Got the this is gonna be coming out this year. This polo as well. Then we have the Spanish Bunny right here in the middle. She has the Latin Nightfall Pineapple jogger. And then we got the We Are One Unity of Jah right here next to her with Latoya. And then we also have with Adam, he has the red Spanish golf polo. So we just having a great time at La Ferrona Cigars. And what our brand is about is everybody having fun, being themselves, having a culture. We all, just tracing our goals and dreams, our purposes while having a good time and being fashionable about everything that we do. So let me tell you about the pre-order. So we got 10%. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to see our special promotion, www.royalblossomcommunity.co. So you can scan that QR code right there. You scan this QR code, it'll take you right to the website. And what's going to happen is you'll be able to see 10% off. You'll see the pre-orders for all those Unity, the joggers that's on sale. We have a clearance sale on a few of the different items. Everything must go. The swimwear, I know it's a little early for the swimwear, but we got swimwear that's on clearance sale. We have shirts and tees that's on clearance sale. We also have the We Are One jogger jacket, the bomber jacket that's on sale too. So yeah, get everything. All this merchandise must go. So we got some special promotions going on. So I'm gonna tell you about this jogger. So you got Spanish money. We're gonna start off with her, with this jogger. So this jogger right here is called the Latin Nightfall Jogger. That one is starting at $89.99 pre-order sale. So that's gonna come out next month, and then the glowing gray is gonna come out at the end of this month. So I'm gonna release them like one at a time, just to spread them out a little bit and spread out the demand with low supply. We're gonna get y'all excited about this jogger right here. So this is a unisex jogger. It's for men and women. So the sizing is gonna be from small to 3XL. 3XL is gonna be very limited in quantity because based off of the demand, a lot of the big and tall sizes tend to be a little bit harder to make, but we're gonna make that extra size for you. So go ahead and get your orders in today. And we got the We Are One. We got the We Are One Unity Ajah set too. So it's a top and bottom. It's gonna be similar to the jacket. Of those of you who have the jacket, it's gonna be very similar to that jacket as well. And we're gonna just go into this jacket. This jogger is very gonna be one of the most popular jackets because it resembles the jacket that we made last year, but it's just like that unity, that red, yellow, and green that represents the whole diaspora, the African diaspora. It's just it brings everybody together. It has a West Indian vibe. It has a vibe of reggae, dance hall, and it's about chill vibes. So this is going to be one of the most popular joggers that we have. So you want to go ahead and get your order. That one's going to be $114.99 at pre-order. So go ahead and get your order in today. That one is gonna come out last but not least, and that one's gonna come out in February too. So go ahead and get your orders in www.royalblossompcommunity.co as well. And then we have the glowing gray. The glowing gray. The glowing gray. So it's going to be also a top and bottom. So there's going to be some significant changes with this one as far as um, the top and bottom is also going to be a unisex jogger. Small to 3X for all of the joggers as well. So the ladies, you'll be able to buy this as well. So I just can't wait for you to get these. So this one is going to be $94.99 pre-order price. So go to the website, get 10% off, www.royalblossompcommunity.com. Scan this QR code. It'll take you right to the website. You'll be able to see what we have in stock. So if you order anything that's on the website today, most likely go out the next 48 hours. It'll get right to you. Especially if you're in the St. Pete area, you'll get it the very next day, sometimes 2 days later as well. So also don't forget about the private label firm. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the private label, I definitely can help you out with that as well. So let me pull up the prices. Let me go ahead and pull up the actual codes. I got them in here. So got the glowing gray right here. You would scan the QR code, it'll go right to the jogger itself right there. That's the glowing gray creative day right there. Go ahead and scan that code right there. Or you can scan the Latin Night Jogger Nightfall. You can scan that QR code right there. It'll actually take you to the website right to that jogger as well. Last but not least, here go the We Are One Unity Ajah. $114.99. Go ahead and scan that QR code right there. It'll take you right to the website as well. So we also got a lot of versatility when it comes to a lot of our clothing, and it's very appealing with the color combinations and the island vibe. So everything is just named after like nature, West Indies, health and wellness, because we're also promoting a health and wellness brand as well, encouraging people to take care of themselves, take care of their mind, body, spirit, their health, their wellness, and everything, to where they can actually obtain purpose. Because a lot of times when you have a bad diet in any of those areas, you can't focus. So we want to put you back in focus and put you back in purpose with this brand as well. So we like to have fun, but we also like to get our business done. But without further ado, let me tell you about this gentleman that we about to bring on. He is doing some great things. out here in St. Pete. This is a picture of him receiving an award. I'm gonna have him talk more about this, but he's doing a lot of great things out there in St. Petersburg, Florida. And when I'm telling you, this guy got me excited because see a lot of stuff, a lot of my qualities in him because he's very ambitious, community oriented, fair, honest, and he has a lot of things that he wants to share with the community. And that's one thing about the Royal Blossom Company. We're big on community and big on bringing the community back and bringing resources to the community. And this is something that he's doing. And he's over a tech company. He's a director at a tech company, and he has a festival coming up. And I'm gonna let him talk about it. He's been doing these things, community things, for years. So without further ado, we're gonna bring on Mr. Aron Bryce. Let me go ahead and get him on the line here. What's up, my man? How you doing?
Hello, hello. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How's everything with you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man. I see you got the St. Pete flag in the back, man. Doing some great things.
Got a rep. Got
That
a
man
rep.
love his. He love his city, boy. That man love his city. You can't tell him nothing about St. Petersburg, Florida. He gonna fight you.
That's right. When you live in the best city in the world, it's hard not to love it.
There you go. Okay, so tell them a little bit about yourself, where you from, and a little bit about your background and your community, your accomplishments, and everything. Tell everybody just a little bit about your background.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. And thank you again for having me. I'm glad to be part of this conversation. Uh,
Absolutely.
so, born and raised in St. Pete, no surprise for someone who loves St. Pete as much as I do. But I went to St. Pete Catholic for high school. I went to St. Petersburg College for my bachelor's degree. I actually did a master's degree remotely through Nova Southeastern University. That's in organizational leadership with a concentration in it's a master's degree in leadership with a concentration in organizational leadership across nonprofit, for-profit, and government. And my bachelor's degree was actually in public policy as well. So that's largely my background, academically speaking. Community-wise, I've been involved in a variety of different roles for a while now, including president of my own neighborhood association. Prior to that, I was vice president. And then also CONA, which is the Council of Neighborhood Associations, which is a nonprofit in the city of St. Pete that works to pull all the neighborhood associations together and find common ground areas to work on issues together collaboratively. I also did Leadership St. Pete, which is a leadership development program through the St. Pete Chamber of Commerce. I did that back in 2023. And that was a wonderful opportunity because you end up being in a class with 40, a total of 40 classmates. So you end up leaving the class with 39 new friends who are professionals in different areas: attorneys, doctors, business owners, nonprofit leaders, you name it. And so being able to go through that program and develop those relationships and at the same time learn a lot about the community was certainly very rewarding. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a very organic process. I was born and raised here in St. Pete. I went to school here in St. Pete. I started my first job here in St. Pete, working for St. Petersburg College, actually. And then, as you mentioned, I'm now at CodeBox, which is a local tech startup that's essentially focused on providing people opportunity. And so if you're interested in getting involved, for example, in a career in tech, CodeBox offers people a 4-month training program that by the end of it, they're fully trained and equipped to be a junior or to be a full stack developer. And so this is significant because, as we all know, it's getting a little bit pricey to live in the Tampa Bay area in St. Pete. And so having an opportunity like this, that's going to put you in a career that can allow you to stay in the community that you love, is a powerful thing. And so for me, it's been a wonderful journey to go from, learning in the academic side of things to growing in the professional world, working for St. Petersburg College, and now working for CodeBox, providing people with opportunities to have their own careers and their lifestyles here in the Tampa Bay area. What else? I also am involved with a few different initiatives. So I actually work through Keep Pinellas Beautiful to adopt Azalea Park and Walter Fuller Park, which are two parks here on the west side of St. Pete, probably the two most actively used in this side of town. And essentially, we do two cleanups at Azalea Park and two cleanups at Walter Fuller Park. But it's a great way to engage with people in the community who are interested in supporting that community, keeping it safe, keeping it clean, protecting our environment, keeping it sacred for those of us who live here. We all know we love our parks and our green spaces. So maintaining our quality environment that we have, I think, is so important. The West St. Pete Food Drive. That's something I've worked on over the course of the past few years, starting in 2023. And actually, as of last year, we had 10 different neighborhood associations partner to do this. And so we had, over the course of the year, 4 different food drives with 10 different neighborhoods. And by the end of the year, we had raised about a total of 5,830 pounds of food for hungry people in the city of St. Pete. So to me, that is the ultimate expression of community. People working together, volunteering their time, contributing their own resources to helping other people who are literally hungry and who may not know where the next meal is going to come from. Also, the Memorial Day weekend flag placement. So at Bay Pines National Cemetery, every year over Memorial Day weekend, they have an opportunity to place flags at the grave sites at all of the veterans who've passed away. And so for the past 3 years and 9 months or so, I've actually coordinated a group of volunteers that goes out there every year and places those flags at the grave sites. And by the end of the event, from all the different volunteers that show up, you get to see essentially an empty cemetery filled with these American flags. And it's a really beautiful thing to see. And it's nice to see the community come together to support our fallen veterans. So all that to say, heavily involved in a lot of different ways. And it stems from a pure love and desire to serve. It's really about public service. And if there's an opportunity for me to support our community and support those in our community, our neighborhoods, our small businesses, I want to be able to do that. And so I'm going to continue to do exactly that.
That's good stuff, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm gonna pull up some of these pictures. So tell us a little bit about some of these pictures. I'm gonna go through them one by one. Tell us about this one.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually only started at CodeBox in October of last year. So it's a fairly new role for me. And this was an event at Foundation for a Healthy St. Pete. They had a 5K, if I'm not mistaken, that was there that day. And so they had different organizations tabling on site to engage with the different people after they finished their 5K. They came inside and had the opportunity to network, engage, ask questions. And so this was, for me, my first event with CodeBox. And in that picture, you see Cody Colby, who works at the Academy as a student success coordinator. And we have Brian Perret, who is the director of CodeBox Academy. And then Will McGall, who is also one of the coaches for the Academy. But for me, this was kind of my first step into the CodeBox world, which was really exciting to engage with people in South St. Pete at Foundation for a Healthy St. Pete and learn about what their interests are, what their concerns are, and how CodeBox might be a good fit for them if they're looking to kickstart a career in technology.
Got you. I got you. Okay. So how long have you been with CodeBox?
Just since last October. And it's been a increasingly developed role, but essentially my role is the director of communities and outcomes. So a lot of what I do is based on supporting enrollment at the Academy, developing external partnerships, networking, developing relationships on behalf of the company, increasing visibility through PR and marketing. So a role with many hats, if you will.
Got you. Okay. And how much does it cost to attend the program there?
Good question. So the entire program costs $12,000, and it can be done in 4 months. And by the end of those 4 months, they're fully trained to be a full stack developer. And so whereas, for example, a traditional college pathway may take 4 years and is much more expensive than $12,000, and there's not always a guarantee of a job at the end, this stands out because this program allows people who are looking for that next opportunity, but may not have the time, energy, or resources to go through a full 4-year academic degree. But they can go through a 4-month program. If they grind for 4 months and really pour themselves into this program, by the end of it, they will have a job. And not just a job, a career that allows them to grow, to continue to learn, and contribute at a high level to different companies or wherever they end up. But many of them end up working for us on the CodeBox solution side. So CodeBox actually has multiple components to it. You got the academy, and you also have solutions. And the solutions team is people who've gone through the program and then end up working for CodeBox to deploy different projects or initiatives and work on different things based on other companies that hire CodeBox solutions to do that. And so it's a wonderful ecosystem that kind of feeds into itself. We have people who we train, who we then hire, or we make sure they get hired, and then they go on to do wonderful things. And so it's incredible to be a part of something that is providing these real opportunities for people and making a difference in their lives.
I wanna say something. That is phenomenal because our society is it's crazy because when you talk about education, like this is like up the lines of like trades and things like that, but
All right.
on the technology base base side, and
Exactly.
it's great because you can come out, you pay like you said 12K, which is good price. You come out, you coming out making 3 or 4 or 5 times that amount, which is great because what I've learned is, which is crazy, it's kind of it is a scam. I'm gonna keep it real. It's a scam because you go to school for 4 years, you paying somebody to find, they're not even guaranteed to find a job. So but with the trades, you're paying, but you actually going to get the career path that you desire. So you do it to the traditional college, there's no guarantees unless you doing like internships, where you got to go above and beyond
Right.
doing what you're doing. But with this, you don't even have to go above and beyond. But you're doing there, you're taking certain classes that make sense. That's a part of the thing. You're not taking a whole bunch of like elective classes that ain't got nothing to do with your major or anything. You're here specifically for tech. You're gonna do this skill. This is what they looking for. This is what, here's the company is gonna be at the end. They're gonna contact you within the next day or the graduation day, and you go right into your career. And that's how it's supposed to be. Because I read that in 2 books. I read that in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I read that in Outwitting the Devil. Because a lot of times people go to college and they're just drifting around. Once they get to college, they drift. There's no definite plan, and the trades give you a sense of direction and plan. Which your company sounds like that's a good company. So that's good. That's great.
I appreciate you saying that, and it's true because to your point, there's so much interest in like the vocational pathways,
Mhm.
and that doesn't always necessarily mean you have to be a plumber or work on ACs. It can be something as impressive as working for a tech company. And at CodeBox, we pride ourselves in the ability to get people jobs. We don't even consider someone graduated from the program, even if they've gone through the entirety of the modules. At the end of it, we don't consider them graduated until they've been placed in a job. And as of last year, we had a 100% job placement rate. At the very end of the year, we had about 7 people who were under consideration, and all seven of them were hired. And so this is something that is very real. We placed over 300 grads at over 100 different companies. And it's not just a theory. It's something that's been proven since the company's been in existence. And now we're seeing the results of that. Because when you hear these stories of these people most of whom have zero background in tech, some of whom come from disadvantaged situations or backgrounds, and who want to make something of themselves. Those are the stories that fuel CodeBox and everyone who works there, because you get to hear the point A to point B stories. How at one point I was a bartender and now I'm helping coach our students, how I was a server, and now I'm working as a developer for a company. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity for people who are interested in remote work, because oftentimes it is done remotely. And so many people grew up with technology, whether that's their cell phones or iPad, whatever the case may be. And now with the introduction of AI, it's changed the game. And so CodeBox is ahead of the curve by using AI to teach people to do these things. And so as a result, we're able to make it that much more accessible. We're able to make it that much more impactful. And at the end of the day, the results speak for themselves, because all these people who've gone through this program and really poured themselves into it, it's transformed their lives. And that's a beautiful thing. And so it's a great thing to be able to be a part of that and to play a role in that. And so that's why even in my short time with CodeBox, I've just been so inspired to be able to help provide those opportunities to people in our community.
Okay. Okay. I think that was the first picture I showed that you was with CodeBox with the award.
That's right.
Okay. So tell us about this picture. I believe that where was you at? Right here.
So this was in downtown St. Pete. I was asked by the downtown St. Pete partnership to speak on a panel, or excuse me, to moderate a panel. And so you have 3 different individuals there on the panel who are joining me to speak about what makes St. Pete special. So the people in that room were actually from Texas, and they were visiting St. Pete to learn about what we've done and how we've done it and how they might do something similar in their own community. And so I had the opportunity to moderate that discussion, kind of guide that conversation, and ensure that the people on the panel had the opportunity to showcase what they thought was special about St. Pete, and that the people in the room got to ask the questions that they were really curious about how we got to where we are and how they might get their city and their community to where we are, or something closer to it. So it was a wonderful discussion.
How long was that? How long ago was that?
That was just last year, so maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, so you out here moving.
A little bit.
You out here moving. So okay. So you got another picture. You got the microphone in your hand. You got a lot to say. So what you got going on right here?
Yes. So this one was cool. This was at St. Pete Community Festival, which I know we're going to dive into a little bit more later. But this was me actually introducing the mayor. So Mayor Ken Welch came out and issued a proclamation decreeing that day as St. Pete Community Festival Day. And so it was a beautiful way to celebrate the festivities of the day, and it made it that much more special. And so I had the opportunity to come up, welcome everybody, and of course recognize and introduce our mayor who came out to support.
Okay, so you got a lot of great things going on. How old are you again?
I just turned 30 in last November on Thanksgiving, actually, November 27th. So
November. So it's just it got the November effect on the line today.
That's right.
November 3rd, here's November 27th. So we got the Novembers that's changing, pivoting for 2026.
That's right.
That's inspiring me, man, because you got a lot of different things going on with your company, your tech company that you're a part of. You putting people into jobs and purpose, and you doing it with the intentions of you want to see people succeed. Now you got the community festival. Now you do a lot of different events with you're in so many different areas, like what you were talking about with the community, with St. Pete, with the mayor. You got a lot of different branches. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still processing that you was talking about as far as the community festival, but you also talking about all the things that you was doing outside of coding and all that other stuff. So you have a lot of different things going at 30. A lot of people are still like just getting over the club scene and hanging out and stuff like that. You actually working towards purpose, and you're gonna be very successful at everything that you do, because your determination, your vision, and what you plan on doing for the next upcoming years, which is inspiring to me specifically.
Well, thank you for saying that, and I feel the same about you. You know, you're a creative, you're an entrepreneur, and this platform that you've developed to have these types of conversations is inspiring to me. I don't necessarily consider myself a creative, but by the nature of a lot of my roles, I have to be. Certainly with the St. Pete Community Festival, but it's always fun to kind of take a step back and reevaluate the different ways you can be creative or you can have some fun with some of these things. And to me, at the end of the day, you got to enjoy what you do. And so for me, I not only enjoy what I do at CoBox, which is certainly fulfilling, but also the work I do in the community. Like I said, the West St. Pete Food Drive, which helps combat food insecurity, the park cleanups, which help keep our community clean, the coordinating a group for volunteers at Bay Pines National Cemetery. All these things to me just speak to the overarching theme of when you love your community, you pour into it. And so for me, that's what this is. And it's also just what happens to be a situation where you get to enjoy it at the same time. You engage with people who are authentic, who are committed, who love this city. And that's a special thing when you can pull those people together and work on things together. So the people who are showing up at the park cleanups, the people who contribute to the food drive, those are people who pour into their community because they love it. And so for me, just to play a small role in that and help facilitate that and bring it about, it's just an honor for me to be able to do that. And so I'll continue to do exactly that.
Okay, so how did you come up with the vision with the community festival? Before you answer that, I want to ask one question, side question.
Yeah.
With the food drive, how often is your food drives?
So it's quarterly, so 4 times a year. And I do that in coordination with Love Thy Neighbor Food Pantry, which is also based here on the west side of St. Pete. But they do actually help feed people all across the city. And it's ran by a wonderful woman named Joanne Bracchio, who is a volunteer. She pours her heart and her soul into this, and at the same time is helping support the families who are most in need right here in St. Pete. So again, for me to be able to support that in any way is very important for me.
Okay, and where does this food drive typically take place, and what time does it take place?
Yeah, so it would really be geared towards the individual neighborhoods that participate. So there are 10 different neighborhoods, and within those neighborhoods, you have a certain number of people who volunteer as drop-off sites. So their homes, their physical addresses are where a barrel is dropped off, typically on a Friday, and it stays there over the course of the weekend where people can come over and donate and contribute to that. And then on the following Monday, Love Thy Neighbor comes and picks up all the barrels and brings it back to the food pantry, where they then weigh the donations, so that every neighborhood is able to have an exact accounting of what they were able to contribute, and also kind of creates a sense of a friendly competition, if you will, to see which neighborhood can raise the most donations for the food pantry. But yeah, so it's typically dropped off early in the morning on Friday and picked up early in the morning on Monday, and it takes place over the course of a weekend. And there are 4 weekends total that we do it throughout the year.
Okay, and so they'll have to the residents, so they'll come to the food pantry and pick up the items that they need, and then they'll just go home.
Yeah, so yes and no. They have service. They provide that service where people can directly come to the food pantry and receive food that way. But Joanne and her team also go out into the community and they engage with people in different areas where they know there are people in need, and they bring it directly to them. So it is a direct person-to-person contact where they're providing that food to those in need, literally in person, in the moment, in real time.
That's good deal. That's a good deal right there, boy. They got system. They got some systems in St. Pete. Okay?
They do, and it's impressive because when I first started the West St. Pete Food Drive, it was done through the St. Pete Free Clinic, which is an incredible organization, does great work. But due to capacity issues, they weren't able to facilitate the coordination between all of the different drop-off sites, because when you have so many different all over the city, it can be a lot. And so I totally understand that. But then we partnered with Love Thy Neighbor, and they were able to pull a team together to do this. And they said, Joanne told me that the West St. Pete Food Drive is the thing that kept Love Thy Neighbor Food Pantry running essentially all last year, and that without our donations from that food drive, they wouldn't have been able to do everything that they did. And so that told me that what we're doing is special, and that it's meaningful, and that it's having an impact. And so much so that last August, we actually ended up having 5 food drives last year, because we did a bonus one in August, because at that point, Joanne told me that Love Thy Neighbor was struggling, and that if they didn't get donations, they weren't sure if they were going to be able to keep doing what they're doing. And so we ended up doing an extra food drive. And again, by the end of the year, we had literally 5,830 pounds of food and hygiene products raised for St. Pete residents in need. And so again, that's just a testament to the incredible community that we have, from Love Thy Neighbor, who actually coordinates all of that and gets it to the people in need, to the individuals who host the barrels at their own home and allow people to come and make those donations, to the people actually making the donations themselves. So at every part, you have these incredible partners made up of people in our community who are just trying to help those who are struggling and may need a hand up. And so, again, just to be a small part of that is really special.
Okay. Sounds good, man. That sounds good. All right, man. So let's talk about the community festival, man. So tell us a little bit about it. I'm gonna circle back to the question. So, what's the vision behind the community festival? I know you say there's some symbolism in this. Can you tell the people about the symbolism?
Certainly. So when you look at this logo, it was designed with very direct intentionality. And so St. Pete Community Festival takes place at Azalea Park, which is on the west side of St. Pete, and has a lot of oak trees at this park, as many of our parks do. And so when you look at this image, you see the sun, which is reflective of St. Pete, the Sunshine City. And you also have the oak trees, which is reflective of our parks, especially, Azalea Park. And then on the left side here, you see a pink flower. That is an azalea flower. And so representing, of course, Azalea Park. And then on the right side, you see a peacock feather. And for those who don't know, West St. Pete, particularly in the Jungle Prada area, which isn't far from Azalea Park, there are literally peacocks that congregate at one of those local parks. And you can hear them, you can see them. You see the big feathers when you walk by. And so it's a intentional reflection of that part of our community. And so I wanted this logo to really reflect that the character and the nature and the feel of West St. Pete and the city as a whole, in particular the exact park in which it takes place. So this logo, I think, accomplishes all of that. And then, of course, at the very bottom, it says a music and arts celebration, which is my way of really showcasing that. And this goes back to your original question, my vision. I want this to be a music and arts festival. It is both a community, family-friendly event, as well as a music and arts celebration. So it pulls together both sides of our community that are looking to get out with the kids and enjoy a family-friendly event, as well as those who love live music and who love art and who want to come enjoy and support that. And so it really binds all that together in a beautiful way that culminates in what is the St. Pete Community Festival.
Okay, that's a good vision. Okay, now what year are we going in? This is the second year or third year you're doing this?
So technically, it's the third iteration of the event. So the first one took place in 2023, and at that time, it was called the West St. Pete Community Picnic. And the idea was for it to be a much smaller kind of scaled event that was just geared towards having a community event in West St. Pete. From that, it evolved, and it became the St. Pete Community Festival, which was more broadly focused on the entire St. Pete community at large. But that also leveraged the beautiful and wonderful venue that is Azalea Park in West St. Pete. So it remains accessible and personal to those in West St. Pete, while also being a tremendous uniting force for the city as a whole. So in 2024, it was actually rescheduled. So the hurricanes came, and obviously that threw a wrench in the works, certainly for the festival, but by and large for everyone in our community who suffered through that devastation. And as a result of that, basically 2 years of planning went not down the drain, but it was on pause because we had to pump the brakes there and reschedule. And so it ended up being rescheduled for March of last year. And I'll tell you what, it ended up being a blessing in disguise, because what it enabled me to do is grow the event and build it into something even bigger and better than it would have been back in 2024. And so last year, and let me back up a little bit. So the West St. Pete Community Picnic probably had about 1,000 people show up. And that, again, was supposed to be a very small, intentional community event. And we still had that type of response. And so what that told me is that there's this appetite for more of that in this community, especially outside of downtown, because downtown gets all the love all the time. And understandably, it's a beautiful place with a lot going on. But what if we took some of that energy and spread the love a little bit? And so that was my idea, is to let's bring some of this energy of art, of small businesses, of community, and let's try and do something like that in the west side of St. Pete. And so as a result, we grew the event. We rebranded it as St. Pete Community Festival. And just last year, we had an estimated 3,000 people show up. And again, for a grassroots event like this, that's huge. And that tells me that people want this. This tells me that people are interested in coming together as a community. And when you look at community, unity is all capitalized, and that is intentional. The idea for this is to keep bringing people together. And I think in today's day and age, you can't do that enough. There's so many things that pull us apart, but community, unity, bringing people together, I can't think of a more noble cause.
There you go. There it is. That's the vision right there. So
That's the vision.
where is it? When is it coming up?
Yes. So Saturday, March 7th, 2026, Azalea Park, 1 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. There's the gorgeous flyer that my dear friend Matthew Lee put together. And we have some wonderful, wonderful things planned for it, from the live music to the art, to the vendor village, to the kids corner, to the artist enclave. Every single part of this event has been painstakingly curated to be as intentional, as meaningful, and as impactful as possible. So when you look at the top of this flyer, you can see in partnership with the Stronger Together St. Pete Foundation, and then of course the City of St. Pete. So this is in fact a co-sponsored event with the City of St. Pete, which is great to have their support. And then of course the Stronger Together St. Pete Foundation is actually my own nonprofit that I've started. And I did this because last year when I put on the event, it was done through Kona, which at the time I was president of Kona. And so I used that platform to kick off this event and really take it to the next level. And because of the resounding response that it received, I decided that even if I was going to no longer be the president of Kona, which I decided I wasn't going to run for re-election for this year, that I wanted this event to continue and that I wanted this festival to continue to grow. And so I started the Stronger Together St. Pete Foundation, which has taken over the management of the St. Pete Community Festival, and we'll continue to grow it and build it as the years go on.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was at the festival last year. I was with the Duke of Ribs. Shout out to them. And it was busy out there, man. I'm talking about, he ain't lying. There was a lot of people out there. That community festival was great. Fun vibes. The energy was nice. People was good. Like I said, Kim Welsh was out there. The music was pretty good out there. They had a mix of rock and roll, jazz, and reggae. So that was great.
Some great local talent on the music side. And we brought a lot of those same artists back. I don't know if you want to pull the flyer up one more time. I can
I'll pull it up. Yeah, absolutely.
The lineup that we have scheduled for this year is, it's banging. It is really good stuff. So at the top there, you see Ajava. That is a local rock funk fusion band. If you've never seen them, they are absolutely outstanding. Easily one of the best live bands in the city, probably the region, maybe the state. I truly feel that strongly about them. They are absolutely phenomenal. So they're going to do an original set, which is all of their own music, and they're also going to do a Pink Floyd tribute set. And so they're our headliner for this event, and that Pink Floyd tribute set will be accompanied by a laser light show with full sound and lights and lasers and production. So it's really going to give people that full immersive experience. And then the other bands on there, we have Dead Set Florida and Antelope, who are doing a Dead Fish Super Jam. So it combines the sounds of the Grateful Dead and Fish in one setting. And then we also have Greg Roy and the Pressure Band, who's doing an original set and a Bob Marley tribute set. If you don't know him, he is an absolute local legend and a reggae legend, in my opinion. People sometimes refer to him as Tampa Bay's Bob Marley. I mean, he's from Jamaica. He's got the dreads, a beautiful heart, a beautiful soul, and a wonderful voice. And he does a great job emulating the same spirit and love and connectivity that I think Bob Marley kind of launched in his career. And then lastly, we have on there Brother Bear, who is a local DJ who's going to do a Odessa and a Pretty Lights tribute, which are two electronic acts that kind of binds some of the live music with some electronic music. And then lastly, the official after party is going to be at CJ's Backstage by Dead All Over, which is a Grateful Dead tribute band made up of some wonderful local musicians. But that's cool too, because we didn't have that last year. So this is a new thing for this year, an official after party where even if the music stopped at 9:30 at Azalea Park, you can keep the good times going over at CJ's, where Dead All Over will play literally from 10 p.m. to I think almost 1 a.m. So this is literally a full day of music from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. if you count the after party. So some really, really great music lined up for this year.
Okay. Okay. Are you still accepting vendor applications?
We sure are. And so if you go on Facebook, there is the St. Pete Community Festival page I put out the link on there for people to apply as a vendor. They can also reach out to me directly via Facebook or email. My email is Aron, ARONG, Bryce, BRYCE @gmail.com. And I'm happy to send them the form. But definitely want to have as strong representation of our local community and our vendor village. And support our small businesses, which is a huge part of this too. This festival can be a launch pad for local business. We're really turning community gathering into economic opportunity, which is huge for something of this size to be able to have that type of impact. So whether it's Duke of Ribs doing as well as it did, whether it's the other food vendors doing as well as they did, or whether it's just the other craft vendors who are selling their wares who did as well as they did, or to go back to the artists. Supporting these individuals and supporting these communities is such an integral part of this festival. And so if I can continue to grow it and allow it to use it as a platform that's going to support our small businesses, support our local artists, support our local nonprofits, I think that's a way that this festival can continue to have a tremendous impact, despite being fairly small compared to some of these other festivals and events that happen in St. Pete.
Okay. Okay. Do you have an Instagram page for the community festival?
We sure do. Yep. So there's a Facebook and an Instagram, and it's just St. Pete Community Festival.
Let me see. Okay.
All together, all one word. It's got the same logo on there that we had up on the screen. It's a newer page, so we're still trying to, aggregate some following there. But hopefully, through exposure like this and continued eyeballs that get on, the Facebook and the Instagram, people can continue to learn about it, follow it, and stay in touch with all the details. Because that's how we put a lot of this stuff out right now, is through the socials, especially the Facebook, where we provide the updates, all the festival information. So anybody who wants to follow along as an attendee or a vendor and stay in touch with what's going on, those platforms are definitely the best place to do that.
Okay, I just followed you off my clothing brand page. I'm gonna make sure I follow you off the other pages too.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I meant to ask you about it before, but I never did. But yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'll be out there. I'm letting you know I'll be out there with the Royal
All right.
Block Company. I'll also be out there with the Duke of Ribs that day. So you'll see me on the food truck and under the vending tent. So you'll get a double header of Mr. Pineapple himself. I'll be out there with Aaron and them fellowshipping and things like that. So it'll be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening simultaneously as well. So yeah, I would say that event was pretty productive. Everybody was having a great time. Everybody was fellowshipping. Everybody was eating. Everybody was just getting along. They had their picnic tables, picnic chairs out there, and everybody was just vibing and chilling out. You know, it was a really good experience. It's good exposure for the businesses, and he said the mayor came out, and everything was great. It was a great event, and make sure you attend.
Absolutely, that part. It's going to be a can't miss event, and I appreciate your feedback because that's really meaningful. We want this to be something that is special for not only the attendees but also the vendors and small businesses and artists that participate. So to hear that you had a positive experience and those you engaged with shared the same thing, that's also a lot of what I heard. So thankfully, we'll keep that momentum going and keep all the feedback positive. We want to make this a event that is intentional, that is really by and for the people of this community across St. Pete, across Tampa Bay. And that's the beauty of it too. I mean, so many of these individuals are St. Pete based, but you also have some folks from Tampa, from across Pinellas County, as far as Clearwater. I had some folks tell me they came all the way from Sarasota area. So across the Tampa Bay region, people came out to this event, and so I think that says a lot about the appetite that people have for something like this, and more importantly, what they think about this event. That they thought it was worth going out of their way to attend, and that they enjoyed it so much they will hopefully attend again. And so that's the goal: is to keep that momentum going, continue to grow this event, make it something special for our community.
There it is. All right. So how do they find you if they want to get in contact with you about the program and the community festival? How would they contact you?
Yeah, so my personal email is good for the festival stuff. Like I said, Aron, ARON, Bryce, BRYCE, @gmail.com. Just shoot me an email if you have any questions, comments, concerns, looking to get involved, whether that's as a sponsor, as a volunteer, as a vendor. Just like any event, it does require all those things. And one thing I'll say is we don't charge a single dime to any attendee or vendor, which is something that really sets this event apart. There are many events out there that rely on that model, and I can totally appreciate and respect that. But what I've done is try to make this event that leverages our community for sponsorships and using those sponsorships to fund the event so that the attendees don't have to pay for a ticket to attend, and so that the vendors don't have to pay a fee to participate and vend. And so I think that part of it speaks to the community component, that this really is by and for the people, in the sense that we don't want restraints, we don't want limitations. We want this to be something that is accessible, that people enjoy, and that benefits them and supports their own businesses, their own nonprofits, and their own projects.
There it is. Do you have any closing remarks?
Just that it's going to be a hell of an event, and that if you're available, I think you should definitely put it on your calendar. Saturday, March 7th, 1 to 9:30 at Azalea Park. For this year, there's going to be, like I said, a kids corner that has some free kids activities. So if you have young ones or siblings or children that you want to bring out, there's a whole part of the festival that's dedicated solely to them, with some free programming for them to enjoy, including like a balloon artist and some face painting, and different resources around there. We also have St. Pete Police Department, which comes out and brings a marine vessel, a motorcycle unit, a SWAT truck. We do a canine demo, so you get to get up close and personal and learn about all these different things, engage with our local officers, which is kind of cool, and see the different things that they use when they're out in the field. We have a fire truck that comes out, and you get to see the fire truck up and close, engage with the firemen. We have PSGA, which comes out with with one of the Sunrunner buses that you can go inside, ask questions about the service, enjoy some fresh air, some AC in case it's a little warm out for you. It serves as a kind of cooling area as well because it is air conditioned. And then beyond that, we also have Pinellas County's Sheriff Office, which lands a helicopter in Azalea Park, which is a really cool spectacle that we did for the first time last year, where they literally land a helicopter in the field. And of course, all the kids go running because they want to go up and see it. And so they get the chance to go up and meet the pilot and take pictures, ask questions, learn about it. So it's a really cool interactive element. And then we also have a mobile aquarium, which is through the St. Pete Marine Discovery Center that's connected to Rumfish Grill, actually. But they have a mobile aquarium that also has a touch tank where kids can go in and literally interact and learn about the different marine life there. So it makes it fun as well as educational, which I think is also a big part of this. It kind of ties in both. And then beyond that, we also allow Love Thy Neighbor will be there. So they'll be accepting donations for food and hygiene products. So if you're able to come to the event, maybe bring a can or two to donate to Love Thy Neighbor. And of course, some spending money, right? Because there's some vendors there like yourself who'll be selling some wonderful stuff and definitely worth checking out and supporting our local small businesses. Part of it is also the Artist Enclave and the Grove, which will be entirely dedicated to local artists, some interactive art installations, some artists will be doing live painting. So again, really leaning into the arts and culture part of this event. Beyond that, I could keep going. There's so many wonderful parts to this event, but the beauty of it really at the end of the day, and this is kind of the headline, there's something for everybody. Whether you're the kids in the kids corner, the artists in the artist area, enjoying the vendor village, dancing to some live music, it really is something special. And the fact that it pulls together government entities, nonprofit partners, small businesses, our neighborhood and associations, it's special. It's something special that's able to pull all that together. And so to be able to continue to do that and build on that will remain my vision. But all I can say is Saturday, March 7th, that's the place to be at Azalea Park at St. Pete Community Festival. So come on out.
Come on out. We'll be there. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this live and close out. Once again, we're gonna have another phenomenal guest next week. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Royal Blossom Company on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Royal Blossom Company, Thursday Night with Pineapple or the Royal Blossom Company. Facebook page, my personal Facebook page is Royal Imperial Anonymous. If you don't know what that means, it's Royal King Pineapple. That's what it means on Facebook. It's just abstract meaning of whatever. Also, we want to end with my famous quote as well. Once you discover how unique you are, you begin to change the world around you. And with that being said, we are closing this live out. We'll see you soon. Till next week at 7:30. We are out.